I read boring budget documents for fun, and Boise's FY 2026 budget has the most glaring contradictions I've ever seen. Boise's mayor says she's stretching every dollar. This is her budget. $331 million. 10 years ago, it was $194 million. That's a 70% increase. If this is stretching, then I'm a yoga instructor. But it gets worse. Your property taxes in 2023, $175 million. But by 2030, they plan on making it $238 million. Do you know what stretching every dollar means in the real world? It means you would cut costs, you would find efficiency, you would do more with less. But in Boise, I guess it means the exact opposite. It means they spend more and you pay for it. So let me show you 3 examples. 3 ways the city claims they're tightening their belt while charging you more money. Number 1, they created a new department. It's called the Organizational Effectiveness Department. Do you know what that means? Neither do I. But it costs $2.4 million in 2026 alone. In the private sector, we just call that doing your job. But in government, they create an entire department. But it gets even better. Number 2, this Organizational Effectiveness Department. One of their stated goals is to oversee high priority projects. Well, the city needs to replace their entire ERP system. That's the software that runs payroll, finances, utilities, HR. This is a big project. So you'd think a $2.4 million effectiveness department could handle it, right? But here's what's actually happening. Finance is hiring a separate coordinator. Salary, $130,000 per year. And let me read you part of the job description. The role is focused on standardization, efficiency, continuous improvement. Wait, standardization, efficiency, continuous improvement? Isn't that exactly what the Organizational Effectiveness Department does? They have a $2.4 million budget, but when actual efficiency work needs to be done, they still need to hire someone else for $130K. Well, whatever they do, it doesn't look like efficiency to me. It looks like bureaucracy multiplying, but it gets worse. Number 3, the city is spending $61,000 on artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot. Now AI can be great, I use it myself, but watch what the city is claiming. The director of organizational effectiveness told city council their AI pilot was incredibly successful. Watch this.
We did a survey of staff citywide around their use of generative AI. And then we also did a pilot last year where we bought 50 licenses for ChatGPT and distributed them and then evaluated how that worked. Overall, we found that staff reported they saved almost 4 hours a week by having access to a license. So that's the equivalent of if you have a team of 10 staff and they all get licenses, that's like having an extra FTE, which is huge. So we see the ROI on this investment in artificial intelligence being really high in terms of our productivity of the city.
4 hours per week saved, 1 extra employee for every 10 people. Really high ROI. Okay, let me make sure I understand this. If I give 10 people ChatGPT subscriptions, you get the equivalent of 1 full-time employee. That's what he just said. So here's my question. Why is the Organizational Effectiveness Department adding headcount? If AI is doing the work of an extra employee, shouldn't you need less people, not more? In the real world, when technology makes you more productive, you do more work with the same staff. Or if you're really efficient, you do the same work with less staff. But in city government, that's not how it works. You buy more software licenses, you hire more people, and then you pat yourself on the back for efficiency gain. Give me a break. So let me ask you a question. Based on everything we just covered, budget up 70%, new efficiency department that can't handle all the efficiency work, spending more on AI licenses, how do you think the city feels about their performance? They think they did awesome. According to the 2026 budget, the city has been diligent because in some years they didn't take the full 3% property tax increase allowed by law. Diligent. That's their word. They didn't take the maximum from you by law, so they think they're good stewards of your money. Come on. That's like putting $10,000 on a credit card and saying, hey, at least I didn't max it out. The limit was $25,000. I showed restraint, so you should be proud of me. No, you still spent $10,000. And because they were so diligent, now they're drawing on unused capacity from previous years. Unused capacity? Let me translate that for you. Imagine you go to your boss tomorrow and say, I need a raise, a big one. You see, the employee handbook says I could get up to 3% every year. But last year, you only gave me 2%. And the year before, also 2%. So technically, you owe me that extra 1% from each of those years, plus this year's 3%. You know what your boss would say? That's not how this works. Get out of my office. But that's exactly what Boise is saying. They could have taken 3% from you every year. So now they're making up for lost time. Over the next 7 years, $63 million more in property taxes. And they think you should be grateful about it because it could have been worse. The next time someone at City Hall tells you these tax increases are unavoidable, remember, unavoidable means you have no other choice. But they have choices, a lot of them. They could use the staff they already have instead of hiring new positions. They could leverage the AI they're paying for instead of growing headcount. They could work within their existing budget instead of automatically reaching for property tax increases. But they won't. You know why? Because it's easier to take your money than to be efficient. The mayor says she's stretching every dollar, but the only dollars getting stretched are yours. I read all 202 pages of this budget, and the waste doesn't stop there. Drop a comment. What else should I investigate in next year's budget? Because if nobody's watching City Hall, this will only get worse. Thanks for watching.